Hello my fellow hunters, what's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and of course we're talking about Bloodborne. We're going to be talking about the PC version of Bloodborne. How likely is it that we will see that? But the majority of this video is we're going to be going into details about Insight. We're going to be talking about the workshop, infusing your weapons. How exactly do you use blood gems in Bloodborne? And then also the multiplayer component of the game. How do you jump into co-op? How do you host? How do you join? How do you set a password? How do you do PvP? And then also I'm going to give you my tips about my favorite weapon, and then also some co-op tactics and a ton more. So as always guys, use the video guide in the description to skip ahead to the info that you seek. But guys, here we go. We're talking about Bloodborne. Also, we're going to be starting up the top plays and funniest moments from Bloodborne. You can get in on the action by submitting your plays and funniest moments to bloodborneplays@gmail.com. So get to it, submit your plays. I'm really excited to see what you guys submit because I've had so many epic moments and hilarious failures so far in Bloodborne, so I cannot wait to see them. So there was a recent rumor that Bloodborne would be headed to the PC. It was posted supposedly on Amazon for Windows 7 and 8. Well, we have an official word from Sony, and no, it is not going to be coming to PC, unfortunately. Of course, if I had it my way, it would be on every single platform, and in fact, if I had it my way, there would only be one universal platform, and I do think that would be, of course, PC in many of your guys' minds as well. But you know, Demon Souls, it was the original start of the Souls franchise, and it started out on a Sony platform, the PS3. So basically, Bloodborne is nice and comfy on its home console, which is now, you know, the Sony PlayStation 4. But hopefully, you know, we see Dark Souls 3 universally launched on all platforms. Of course, we have Dark Souls 2, Scholars of the First Sin to look forward to on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So hopefully a lot of you guys that are stuck on the PC and Xbox One can enjoy that experience. But let me know what you think about Bloodborne being exclusive to the PS4. So before we dive into things like co-op, Insight, and the workshop, I wanted to tell you guys a quick tip about managing your inventory. Now, a lot of you guys may not know this. Well, when you open up your inventory, you do have your quick slot items. I highly recommend, of course, putting anything really important for battle in there, including any items like the fire paper and such items like that that are battle ready, that would be used in battle. And then you have your personal effects items. Now, this is usually ignored. I would actually use your social items in this inventory space. Put your Resonant Bell, your Beckoning Bell, your Sinister Bell, your Notepad, stuff like that in your personal effects. You can access your personal effects by pressing right on the touchpad. It'll bring that up, and then you can go ahead and press Y when you are over the inventory slot you wish to equip your item in. And that way, you know, when you're in battle and you're going through your quick items, you aren't getting confused between, you know, your Beckoning Bell versus your oil that you need to use, or your Molotovs. You are always battle ready. So separating your battle ready items into your quick slot items, and then also your social items into the personal effects space will help you out a ton in Bloodborne. So now we're going to talk about Insight, which is one of those under the hood mechanics that changes the game world as you play. Now, there's several ways you can gain Insight, and there's also ways you can actually spend it, and now that's what we're going to talk about right now. So Insight is used for all sorts of things. First of all, you need 1 Insight to level up. So each level, it's going to cost you 1 Insight. You need 10 Insight to use at the Insight Bath Messenger shop. Now, more on that later. Trust me, we will be returning to that in just a moment. You also need 30 Insight before you can invade another player's game. Again, more on that in just a moment about PvP. At certain thresholds of Insight, such as 15 and then 40, you will see the game world changing. Now, I haven't experienced this yet myself, but apparently enemies will power up. They will become more stronger as you gain Insight. So be wary. The difficulty of the game will increase. Beware of level Insight 40. So how in the world do you earn Insight? Well, there's a variety of ways. So first up, You can have up to 99 insight in total, and you can earn 1 point of insight for entering a boss arena. So just stepping into a boss battle gives you 1 point of insight. But if you defeat that boss, you get 2 points of insight. Now, 1 point of insight is consumed by using a Madman's Knowledge item, which of course you could buy from the Hunter's Dream. So instead of farming for insight, for example, you can actually go after Blood Echoes and then buy the Madman Knowledge item and then just gain insight in that manner if you wanted to. Now, 1 point of insight is also for defeating a boss when assisting during co-op, and then 1 point of insight for defeating another player when you invade them during PvP. So you're earning insight basically for doing everything in this game. Also, those rats in the sewer do provide Madman's Knowledge and insight, so get to it, kill me some rats. So you've earned yourself some insight, now how do we spend it? So insight is spent at a special Bath Messenger shop in the Hunter's Dream. Now, you will require 10 or more insight before you can activate this Bath Messenger shop. It's located at the top of the stairs near the chapel in the Hunter's Dream. So go there and begin purchasing some very unique items. Items used for co-op and PvP, which is what we're talking about right now. So let's say you want to be the host of co-op. What in the world do you do? So to host co-op, you will need the Beckoning Bell. This is going to be found in the Hunter's Dream after you have 1 insight and have awakened the abandoned doll. So you need 1 insight. It's also recommended that you have defeated the first boss. Now, this might be optional, but once you get to this point and you have 1 insight, speak to the doll, speak to the messenger there, and you will get a Beckoning Bell from the Hunter's Dream. Now, once you are in the actual game world, you will be able to ring the bell and allow other gamers to come and assist you in your game world. But Robbie, what happens if I don't want assistance? What happens if I want to reach out and help other players in their game worlds? Okay, so to join another player's game world, you first need to have 10 insight or more. You will need to return to the Hunter's Dream. Now, go to the shop at the top of the stairs, and to the right you will see a fountain. You will then see some freaky skeleton baby children, or whatever they are in the fountain this time. Go ahead and activate the fountain, and now you will be able to buy the Small Resonant Bell, as well as the Sinister Resonant Bell. I highly recommend just grabbing both the Small Resonant Bell and the Sinister Resonant Bell, but right now we're going to focus on the Small Resonant Bell because this is what you're going to use to go out into the game world. You're going to equip it in your personal effects. I recommend equipping it to your personal effects. Again, that's going to help you stay organized. Activate it, and you will now be attempting to join another game world. Of course, this may take some time depending on the area that you're trying to join. I have a lot of luck near the cathedral for some reason in this game, so I recommend just hanging out there if you want to help other players. Now, what about PvP? Well, remember the Sinister Resonant Bell that I just told you to buy. This is what you're going to use to invade other players' worlds. You're going to require a total of 30 insight, though, throughout your experience. So that doesn't mean you have to be holding on to 30 insight. It just means that you have to have collected a total of this amount throughout your journey. So what you need to do is go to an area with a Bell Maiden. I have found one of the best areas for this personally is the Cathedral, and then also the Nightmare Frontier have been really good for PvP. Just ring the bell and you will begin the invasion. Of course, someone may actually invade your game. You're inviting invaders, of course. Remember, each time you play co-op, you are inviting invaders to invade your game world. Now, what's really interesting about this is you can hunt down the Bell Maiden and actually kill her and stop other players from invading your game world. Okay, so we know how to play with strangers. How do we do private co-op? So to do private co-op, you will need to go to Settings, Network, Password, and set a password. Share it with your friends. Make sure you both have the same exact matching password. One of you will need to ring the Beckoning Bell, the other will need to ring the Resonant Bell. Of course, it is ideal and required that you are in the same area. Once you guys have these requirements met, you will join each other in the game worlds. So now we're going to talk about weapon upgrades and infusions. How in the world do you use blood gems? How do you infuse them to weapons? So yes, infusing your weapons. You'll need blood gems, of course, to do this. And more importantly, the Blood Gem Workshop tool. Now, for blood gems, you will find a variety of them on offer throughout the game world. Of course, there's more rare ones throughout the world. Those have yet to be discovered. And of course, I will try to update you guys on their locations as we go, but we're going to try to find that workshop tool. So to find that, you need to find the boss, Father Gascon. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but after you find him and defeat him, go up the stairs and find the room with the bookshelves. You will find a treasure holding the Blood Gem Workshop tool. It's pretty identifiable. It's a huge treasure chest. So grab that Bloodshop Workshop tool and immediately head back to the Hunter's Dream and begin upgrading. Now, don't be wasteful with these gems because they are pretty rare, and make sure you find a good weapon that you want to upgrade. So make sure you really experiment with your weapons. Just have a blast experimenting, you know. Find out which one that you like the best and then begin really dedicating your time to it. So mentioning favorite weapons, I want to tell you guys my personal favorite weapon. Currently, it is definitely the Hunter's Axe, and there's so many reasons why. It is because it has a multitude of options. You can use the weapon in tandem with your pistol or blunderbuss, but also switch to two-handed and cause mass amounts of damage. And then also the reach on this thing when you're in two-handed mode is absolutely incredible. So although it's slower, you know, and more lumbering in two-handed, you can also wind it up and use your power attack to knock enemies back. This is really useful in co-op, so you can stand there, stand back, wait for your friends to aggro enemies, and then wind up and knock back all those enemies. It really does help a ton. And you know, mentioning co-op strategies, be sure to have a player that does aggro the boss or other enemies, and then come in and start doing your stabby stab and your strikes from behind. It's an extremely useful tactic to always have someone that's more, you know, on the defense, aggroing the enemies, and then someone that's really being aggressive and going on the offense using their power attacks from behind and stuff like that. Also, do not neglect your oil urns. If you notice someone is using their Molotov cocktails or fire paper modding their weapon, go ahead and throw oil on the boss or enemy, and you will notice that you guys can cause massive amounts of damage with this tactic. And are you struggling with your blood echoes? Do you find yourself where you have absolutely none? Well, here's a real quick tip for you to get more blood echoes. I highly recommend you explore an unknown area by using the Small Resonant Bell once you have it, and explore it first within another player's world. It just minimizes the risk so much. You still gain blood echoes from being in their world and items and stuff like that, but when you die, you do not lose any of these items. You also gain insight for helping them out in the boss battle and stuff like that. If you do die, you are just taken back to your world and you retain everything that you gathered, and you could just keep repeating this and get familiar with the game world by helping another player out. It's one of the things that I do, and I love the game for it. Then of course you can have someone come into your world, but when you do that and you have someone helping in your world, the risk is you will likely lose all those blood echoes. The boss will take them from you, so be careful about going into a new area and just exploring it. This is one thing that could potentially help you big time and help you keep those blood echoes. So again, guys, we're doing something brand new. You can submit your top plays and funniest moments from Bloodborne to bloodborneplays@gmail.com for a chance for it to end up right here on Open World Games. I've had so many epic moments in Bloodborne, and I really want to get the community's epic moments in a top play series because I think this is the perfect game for it. So guys, that's all the Bloodborne tips I have for you today, but if you guys want more, please let me know and like the video and share it. It helps out a ton here on YouTube. I'm having a total freaking blast in Bloodborne. I can't tell you guys how much fun I've been having in this game, just exploring. I'm trying not to spoil it for you guys, but I think, you know, the essentials of being able to upgrade your weapons, modding them, and stuff like that is extremely important to explain, and then also how insight works. So I hope you guys didn't find this to be too much of a spoiler. Of course, when we get into things like the actual game world, certain bosses, I really don't know if I'm going to even cover those or spoil them, but please let me know what you like for Bloodborne coverage and other coverage here on open world games. And guys, of course, we're here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and other places, so please do check that description. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in Yharnam.
And when night falls, the hunters return.